Greetings and salutations, travelers of the internet. Welcome to the Lit Round Table. I'm Anna.
And I'm Joseph, and we'll be your wise or not so wise mentors for today's audio adventure in all things storytelling. And at the time you're listening to this, it'll officially be Spooktober!
It's also our 18th episode.
Is that significant?
Well, we normally say what episode number it is, and you didn't.
Oh, I thought for some reason when you said that, I thought it was relevant to it being spooky.
It's an adult.
Adults are spooky.
Well, I meant
for sure.
18. You can go to spooky movies that might be rated R when you're 18.
Yeah, that's true.
So see,
that's true.
See,
it's relevant.
Connections.
Today, dear listeners, we are going to dive deep into some creepy stories. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this is because, one, I have lurked on this. So I'm going to read some Reddit 2-sentence horror stories to you for you to react to. And I'm excited to see you react to them.
And by you, he's talking to me. But also, it'll be fun to hear your reactions. So share those in the comments. But before we get into that, we have one more week of our read-along book. So we're a little ahead on our recording. So the poll is not closed at the moment we're recording this.
Because the next episode after this one is the one where the new one gets revealed. Correct? Because that'll be the last episode.
Yes, thank you. I was like,
You're
where
welcome.
where does this come out? Anyway.
See the hamsters running on the wheels in your brain.
Thank you. The point is, if you want to vote, you need to sign up for our Patreon so that you can vote for our next read-along. Our next read-along books are...
Well, I'm on the spot now. I've got to remember all three.
Well,
There's three of them.
I can remember them. We got Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. We've got Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. And also The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin.
Yeah.
So those are your options. So go vote it up if you're a patron.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
But that's really the only housekeeping we've got.
All the housekeeping.
Ooh, actually... Maybe I'll save it.
Was it the update on the WGA strikes?
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe we'll save that for right before we talk about what we've been doing.
Yep.
Because I don't know how we're going to handle it, because I don't know about SAG. I don't know what they're doing.
They're not done yet, but we'll get to that.
We'll get there. Anyway, so yes, I'm going to be reading some 2-sentence horror stories from Reddit. So I think it's very creative. It takes skill to be able to creep someone out in a mere 2 sentences. Mm-hmm. So they're skillfully made.
So these would be considered microfiction, which just means very short stories. There are contests like writing, or there used to be. I guess I don't know how prevalent they are anymore, but there used to be contests in publications like magazines and some anthologies for microfiction. And it is very difficult. I am incredibly bad at it. So I thrive in long-form content. So I have always admired people that can put together a very strong microfiction story.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're in for a treat today then.
Yes. Well, and I think micro horror is especially difficult. So I'm super curious to hear these.
Yeah. So all the credit goes to all the creators. I'm going to list their username before I read the story, and we'll also have their usernames listed in the description.
Yeah, we'll have the subreddit. Yep, we'll have the subreddit, and then we'll have the users listed. So.
Yes. It's just called 2-sentence horror on Reddit. But yeah, the links will be in all places. So go check it out. The way I've kind of curated this list. So it's not a complete list, so I just sorted it by the top posts of all time, and I kind of picked and chose which ones were my favorites, but it is going to be in ascending order, so like I'll start at the bottom, and then when we get to the top, it'll be the top rated post on the whole subreddit. it's not, obviously, I didn't include every single one on there. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. These are just the ones near the top that I liked. Trigger warning for those of you who may be sensitive to, well, if you don't like horror, maybe just back out now because they're spooky.
Yeah.
If you don't like scary things, maybe this episode isn't for you, and that's okay. Go listen to one of our other, like however many we have.
Go listen to our We're PBS Kids episode. It's the opposite of horror.
For sure. Yes, for sure.
But honestly,
it's October.
But honestly, we have a lot of episodes out there. So, unless you've been following us from the beginning, in which case we love you dearly. There's a lot of content for you to consume instead of this one.
Yeah. But anyway, trigger warning if you are sensitive to like mentions of murder, some body horror moments. I don't remember if there's anything suicide related in any of these. Okay. There's a lot of ones that did, but I just don't remember if they made it into my list. I didn't include any of the posts that included any mention of SA. I just didn't feel like reading that out loud, and I just didn't want to. So I didn't include those.
I appreciate that. That's not really our vibe. So no. I mean, it's going to get spooky, and there's some violence. So this is your graphic content warning, but nothing like that. I also didn't include any posts where, so even if you delete your account on Reddit, unless you delete your post first, your post will still exist on the subreddit. So I didn't include any posts where the user had deleted their account, because it just says deleted account at the top of the post. Sure.
So there were a bunch of those that were really good though. So like you should go check out the subreddit if you're interested in this kind of thing, just so you can see all of those.
Did you include any that might include child endangerment?
Yeah, there is some.
Okay.
But trigger warning for all that.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Cool.
So, without further ado, also some of these are really hilarious. So some of them are kind of joke posts.
Sure.
And you'll know them when you hear them.
Okay.
Some of them are, I'll have to kind of explain the context of them, because the reason they're funny is because they're posted on a big online forum.
Do they have titles?
No.
Okay.
So the way these usually work is, like when you make a text post on Reddit, the title is visible, and then you click on the post, and then you can read the box of text or whatever. Mm-hmm. But with these, usually the first sentence of the horror is the title, and then you click on it, and then the second sentence is usually like where the twist happens and what makes it horror.
Okay.
So it's
cool.
It's really interesting the way they're laid out. So, without further ado, this first one, once again, this is ascending order, so the last one will be the best on the top post on the whole Reddit thread. But so starting at the bottom, this is by Derf_Vader. I know, right? That's a great username. Mm-hmm. Genie, I wish there was enough food on this earth that no one ever had to go hungry. Granted, he replied with a laugh, but nothing changed.
Oh, whoa.
Dang.
So real.
Yeah.
That's like infuriating though.
Yeah, some of these hit too close to home. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I can see I can see the path now.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the template they use, is the first sentence lures you in, and then you get hit with the twist in the second sentence. Yeah. So
the fact that it was Derf_Vader that wrote that one is pretty amusing to me as well. Okay.
This next one is by Tiny Arm Trex 88.
Tiny Arm T-Rex.
Thank you. Oh Lord. Tiny Arm T-Rex, Tiny Arm Trex. Hey, they're both spelled the same, so it's fine.
I know. This is great. Keep going.
Okay. All right. It's okay, darling. The new babysitter's here to put you to bed, my mother said as she hugged me and smiled at the young woman standing behind her. I'm surprised she couldn't feel me shaking as I looked upon the face that I've been seeing outside my window for weeks.
Okay.
Dun 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 dun.
Dislike. It reminds me of the time someone knocked on my window in the middle of the night when we were kids.
Oh my gosh. I forgot about that story. Well, I don't remember that because I slept through it, I think, but that's terrifying.
Listener, everything was fine. They were just a couple of dumb high schoolers that wrecked their car in the ditch, and my light was still on a little bit because I was a reader, so that's why they came to my window. Dad helped them out. It's all good. Anyway. But this reminds me of that. It was creepy.
Okay, this next one is from Kilroy137.
Okay.
I decided to kill off a few characters in the book I'm writing. It would definitely spice up my autobiography a little.
Some writer humor. I appreciate.
Yeah. I knew you would like that one. Yeah. I knew you would like that one. I had to include that one.
Thank you.
All right, next one is from Vino Stoat, S-T-O-A-T. I love going to the beach and watching the difference between low and high tides, although this tide has been very low for quite some time. If you don't understand what that means, when the tide gets really, really, really low for a long period of time, that means there's about to be a tsunami.
Oh, I didn't. So yeah. I was just like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for explaining. You're sure welcome. If I lived in a region where tsunamis were a common threat, that would be, I would have got it a lot quicker and it would have been a lot scarier.
If it had been a tornado story, you would have been.
Yes.
Okay, and this one, I feel like there is two from this user. I was like, I feel like I typed this username twice. This is from, come back, where were you? Earth, Mars, Uranus.
Okay.
Be an adult about this.
I didn't say anything.
You snickered at Uranus. Okay.
Well, if you would have said it correctly, Uranus, it would have been fine.
Tomato. Okay.
I would argue definitely not. If one sounds like Uranus, one sounds like
I'm
Uranus.
Just saying I've heard it pronounced both ways by adults. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Anyway, this is the story. I'm going to have to leave this sub. The crew looked on in terror as their captain opened the hatch at a depth of 2,000 feet.
Oh my gosh. R.I.P.
So it's
Titan.
funny. It's funny because I'm going to have to leave this sub is like something you would say about I'm going to leave this subreddit, like they don't want to be a part of this subreddit community, and then they twisted it with a submarine story. Fun.
Did you hear my R.I.P.?
Which R.I.P. what?
Titan.
All right, yes. Goodbye, Seagate Titan. Oh, gosh. Okay, sorry, this username's throwing me off. This one is by, Minnie the Mermaid. Good Lord. Okay, Minnie the Mermaid. Well, it was because for my, it's all ran together in one word, and my brain couldn't separate the words. Okay. But it's Minnie the Mermaid. The sound of my son calling for help grew fainter and fainter. As the batteries in my hearing aids died, I realized it would soon be impossible for me to find him in time. Yes?
What?
Use your words.
Okay. This is silly. This one's silly.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, most modern day... Okay.
I don't know how hearing aids work. I also don't know how old that post is. You know, maybe it's from like 2 years ago. I don't know. Maybe.
I'm having a hard time articulating this. Because it sounds like it's a baby, right?
The sound of my son calling for help grew fainter and fainter. As the batteries in my hearing aids died, I realized it would soon be impossible for me to find him in time. Just son, calling for help, not a baby.
Okay.
See, not as dumb as you thought, because it wasn't a baby.
Not as dumb.
If it's a baby, it's like, well, where'd I leave my baby? I remember where I left my immobile baby.
I feel like this one is not as like, it doesn't grip you as well as some of the other ones so far.
That's fair.
Okay.
Remember, we were starting at the bottom of the list.
I know.
So
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just.
That was more for the listener than for you.
Okay.
Okay. This next one is from Joker Crow. It seems you have discovered an entirely new type of termite. The doctor turned around with the X-rays and explained to me that this is the cause of the aching I've been feeling in my bones.
Termites in your bones?
Ooh.
Is he a peg leg?
by body horror. No, it's like that's the whole thing is that the termites eat your bones, not wood.
I understand.
Creepy.
I was making a joke about Long John Silver, obviously.
Yes, but I mean, never mind. I was gonna say, do you mean like in the Charlton Heston one? He doesn't have a peg leg; he just has a crutch. So, but it's no. Yeah, that's why I decided not to continue down the train of thought. But then I felt awkward about it, like I needed to explain myself, so I did. And it's still dumb.
You know what, you guys? This episode is mostly just me and Joseph banter, more so than other episodes.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay. This next one is from the user I Know Crazy. I used to hate the sound of crickets outside my lonely farmhouse. Now every time they go silent, I know that thing is passing by, and I pray for them to chirp again.
Ooh, I don't like that. That one gets me a little bit.
Yeah,
because I've got crickets in my house.
It's got the fear of the unknown. That thing passes by. You don't know what it is. Also, we both grew up in the country, so like there's usually some kind of constant sound outside of like bugs. So yeah, if everything goes silent, that's creepy.
Bad news bears.
This next one is from the user Unflight. I forgot to grab something. I'll be back soon, said Mom. As she rounded the corner, out of sight, the cashier began ringing up our groceries.
So real.
Oh, the terror.
So real.
That's the scariest one so far. That's a funny one. It's silly.
You know what? That one, and was it the first one? The one about the genie and the solving world hunger. Those two.
Are those your favorites so far?
Very real.
Okay, they're just the most real.
Yeah.
I see.
But the terror of your mom abandoning you at the checkout lane. And just being like, please ring these items up so slow. And it would always be the person who was super fast.
There was a comment. There were comments on it. Sometimes the comments on these are just as funny as the actual story. The comment was something like, I let the man behind me that only had a few items go in front of me. And then just as the cashier started ringing him out, my mom came back with a look of disappointment in her eyes.
Oh, dear.
Oh, man. Anyway, next scary 2-sentence horror story. This is from Nathan is Writing. I look at my father's head on the wall, knowing that he'll finally be proud of me today. Then I look back at the terrified hunter and I sink my antlers into his chest.
What?
It's a deer.
Yeah, read it again.
His dad's head is on the wall.
Yeah, read it again.
I look at my father's head on the wall, knowing that he'll finally be proud of me today. Then I look back at the terrified hunter and sink my antlers into his chest.
You know what is wild? When you first started reading it, my brain was picturing a human head mounted to a wall.
Yeah, see, so not to critique you, Nathan is Writing.
The switch threw me off.
I would have said something along the lines of, I looked at the image of my father's head on the wall to make it seem like it's a painting or something, or a photo, but then it's like his actual head in the twist, and you're a deer. The comments on that one were also really funny. Some of them were like, oh dear, DEER.
Yeah.
Okay. This one is from Zioriek. Here I am, trying my best to swim while slowly bleeding to death as I see the boat sailing away. Why do they even need my fins anyway?
Oh.
That one's very sad.
It's very sad.
That one, if you don't know, some people hunt for shark fins. I don't even know why, but it's a thing. And you just take their fins and then you leave, and then the shark will die because they bleed to death and they can't swim. But, yeah, very sad.
Aww. I don't like that.
Yeah. Scary if you're a shark.
I mean, it's scary in the, people can be awful. And, people can do horrible things.
Right.
And just be cruel without thinking and have it be somewhat normalized. And there's, a certain kind of terror in that, too.
For sure. Humanity is awful. Sometimes good.
Sometimes good.
Okay. So this is the second from Earth, Mars, Uranus. It's been almost a decade since I last saw my mother. And she still reminds me every day that if I misbehave again, she'll take my hearing, too.
What? Say it again.
It's been almost a decade since I last saw my mother.
Oh, because she took
and
his eyes.
she still reminds me every day that if I misbehave again, she'll take my hearing too.
Okay. Well, that's abusive and terrible. I'm so sorry.
Well, yes. All of these are terrible. They're horror stories.
Am I reacting the way you thought I would?
No.
I'm sorry.
Can't you agree? Isn't this like, it's a creative way to tell a story?
No, for sure.
For sure.
For sure.
This next one is from Mighty Boy. Saying the username does kind of suck the terror out of some of these. Not going to lie.
They crack me up.
So it's 2020, the time traveler said. Very early by the looks of it, he muttered under his breath.
Oh.
Oof, tell me when that was made.
Oh, I've probably in like November 2020.
Yikes.
I've seen iterations of that before.
Yeah.
Not in a microfiction, but just in like a concept of we had no idea what was coming.
Man. 2020, the worst year ever. All right. This next story is from Mint Clicker. For my last wish, I wished my dad to be alive again. I stood atop his grave and smiled, imagining him screaming and clawing at his coffin lid, just as he did the 2 previous times I wished him back.
Oh my gosh. It's like Buffy.
Yeah. Oof.
Oof.
All right. This next one is from Italian Quagsire. When the tsunami hit, most people got evacuated. Feeling the trickle of water rise to my chin, I let go of the prison bars in bitter resentment.
Ugh. You know what? A lot of these are just commentary on, like, faulty systems.
Hey, it's valid.
It is.
But you're right. It makes it scarier if you have a particularly empathetic personality and you're able to like put yourself in the shoes of someone. That's when those kind of stories really hit home. Is when you're like, oh, if that were me, bitter resentment that strikes home. Especially if you were like wrongly convicted, or if it was for like a minor, like, oh, you had drug paraphernalia and then you drown in a tsunami. I don't know if, of course, this is a fictional work. I don't know what the real policy is when a tsunami is going to hit if they evacuate prisons, but I would hope they do.
I'm just thinking about all the fire drills that I participated in as an adult at schools where the kids that were in resources or like special education did not have to participate in the fire drill. Which you'd think
you'd definitely want them to participate in the fire drill. Because what if it goes off for real and they're like, oh, it's just a drill, don't worry.
Exactly. A flaw.
Weird. Yeah, for sure.
An ableist flaw. Anyway, next one.
So this one is from Talsuya. Please take me instead, I scream, grabbing at the 2 men who took my child. Sorry, ma'am, children only, they said as I continue loading up the last lifeboat on the ship.
Aww. Baby's gonna be all alone.
Well, it's mostly scary because of the selfishness of humanity. She says, please take me instead. She was willing to sacrifice her kids. Yeah.
Say it again. Read it again.
Please take me instead, I scream, grabbing at the 2 men who took my child. Sorry, ma'am, children only, they said as they continued loading up the last lifeboat on the ship.
Wow. Garbage.
Yeah. Rude, I would say.
Rude is not even close.
You know, I'm going to go out and say it. I don't think she was a good mom.
No.
I'm just going to go ahead and put myself out there and and say that. Okay. Ooh, this one. This one is from Try Again, 1, 2, 3. I think that's supposed to be Try Again, but autocorrect got me. I think that's Try Again, 1, 2, 3. I remember that one. I was born blind, but I was lucky enough to have a loving mother who took care of my every need. Imagine the betrayal I felt when a stitch slipped and a ray of light hit my eye for the first time.
That is disgusting and horrifying.
Yeah, that one's really bad.
That's like Munchausen's by proxy, but body horror.
Yeah, that one's pretty gross. Reminds me of Hocus Pocus with the guy with the sewn shut mouth, like the zombie guy.
Yeah.
Only it's eyes.
Yep. Yep.
All right. This next one is from Bookseer. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 left.
You know what's funny is I keep trying to predict like what the second sentence is going to be, and I'm not.
Oh, like like the punchline to a joke.
Yeah, yeah, and
yeah.
I don't know if that's like sapping some of the whatever out of it for me, but anyway.
Well, it's kind of what you do when you read it. Like you read the first sentence and you're like, "Oh boy," and then you tap on it, and then you're like, "What is the second sentence going to be?" So that's kind of the fun of it. Is you're trying to guess where it's going to go, and it's impossible for a lot of these to guess where it's going to go.
I knew where the 2021 was going.
Yeah, that's fair.
Otherwise, I have not.
Yeah. This next one is from Bookseer. Now be careful, that line of rock salt is the only thing keeping them out, the man said, welcoming my group into his refuge. Sea salt, I clarified. Sea salt keeps us out.
Ooh, I like that one.
I like that one a lot.
That one's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sea salt keeps us out. Ooh.
Clever.
I know. All right, number 4. This is from Strange Seeds is the username. I framed the first letter I got as a police officer from a woman thanking me after I'd supported her through her daughter's suicide. I passed it in my hallway every day for nearly 8 years before realizing the handwriting was the same as on the girl's suicide note.
So mom killed her.
Right.
And wrote the note.
That is the twist.
Garbage humans.
Yeah. This one's number 3. This one's clever. We'll see how I manage to convey it because it's kind of tricky. It's from, I think it's Dayoon. It's not a J, it's an I. Dayoon. ... She said last time, we're stuck in a time loop, which really ticks me off because that's what ... She said last time, we're stuck in a time loop, like it keeps looping.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Groundhog's Day.
Uh-huh. All right, number 2. This is the beardeding. All right. I have been working on stories to compete with the best of this sub, but I'm finding it near impossible. I'm beginning to think some of you are just making yours up.
Ooh. Clever.
Clever, the beardeding.
Also, what a fun name, the beardeding.
I know. All right, this is the top one.
Okay.
The top one on the whole subreddit 2-sentence horror. It's from Dairith Dragson is the username. All my life, my parents have told me not to open the basement door, but I got curious and disobeyed them. What is that glowing ball in the sky, and why does it make my eyes hurt?
Oh, it's Kimmy Schmidt.
I know, right?
Oh, no.
Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Because you're expecting it to be like him going into the basement, not coming out of the basement.
Yeah.
What a twist.
What a twist.
Yeah.
Interesting. These were not horror. I was expecting more like slasher horror or
I mean, there were some like that. Some of those were either deleted or they were a little too much, and I just didn't want to.
That's fair.
Do that. But there, I mean, if you want complete uncensored like grotesqueness, just go to the actual subreddit and you can. I
personally appreciate how you've censored this for me.
Yes.
So thank you. But when you texted me the concept for today's episode, this wasn't what I had envisioned, but that's okay. This was fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yes.
And I hope everyone got to appreciate this unique and creative storytelling method. 2-sentence horror stories. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun.
It was fun.
It's fun reading those to you.
Yes, thank you. You know what? The usernames are almost half the fun.
Yeah, for sure. They were pretty goofy sometimes.
Yes.
The beardeding.
It reminds me of like Tumblr posts where you'll read the post and be like, oh my gosh, this is horrifying. And then you go back up and look at the username and it's one time I dreamt. Or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, the art of microfiction is definitely challenging. So
yes, for sure. And thank you to all the creators who made those posts for me to read today. If you're listening and I read something that you made, good job. It was clever.
Also, what a small world if you're listening to our podcast.
And it was spooky. Yes, small world. Well, since we're done with the two-sentence horror stories, should we move on to the exciting WGA news? And then we can go into our reading, watching, playing.
Yes. So the exciting news is that the WGA and the AMPTP? Whatever. Acronym.
Contagious.
They have come to an agreement. And so the WGA strike is, by this point, by the time this comes out, it will, I'm sure, officially be, the dust will have settled from that. Now, the SAG-AFTRA strike is still ongoing, so we will wait still to share what we're watching until that has also been resolved. But that means that we could be getting an episode where we're talking about all the stuff that we've been watching and haven't been able to talk about, which would be fun.
Yeah.
So
sometime soon.
Yeah. I'm hoping that because the SAG-AFTRA strike happened partially in support of the WGA strike and also because the Actors Guild had a lot of things that they also needed to have addressed. I'm hoping this means that they will be close to having negotiations complete as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And I haven't read a lot in the WGA contract yet, but the people that have been posting about it that are heavily involved have been very pleased with how negotiations ended. So
very good.
This is good.
Yes.
So
awesome. The end is in sight.
The end is in
hopefully.
Sight. Yep.
And hopefully we don't have to be back here in another 10 years. But we'll see.
We'll see. This is why we have unions. So.
Yeah. With that being said, Anna, what have you been watching, reading, and playing that you can talk about?
Great question. So for reading, of course, A Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy Eilen. The Hobbit. The audiobook is so fantastic. I am in Thranduil's Hall right now.
Oh, cool.
So, Bilbo's trying to find an escape. Also working through Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. And I haven't picked up another manga volume yet. So, but I did buy, I don't think I've talked about this on the pod, but I bought a children's book called The Little Ghost Who Was a Quilt. I think is what it's called.
Have I mentioned this? The way you said that made it sound like you told me off the podcast, but this is unfamiliar to me. So.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I can't remember if I've talked to you about this or not. Anyway.
I don't think so.
I talked to Blake about it. I also read it to Blake, and it's a cute book.
What's it called again? Book. I'm sorry.
The Little Ghost Who Was a Quilt.
Oh.
And I can't tell you the author's name off the top of my head, but it will be in the description below. And it is so cute.
Is it like a blanket ghost, but the blanket's a quilt?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's different from all of his friends, and he has a hard time floating because he's heavier than his friends who are sheets.
He is.
And
he's so heavy.
He's so heavy, and then on Halloween, a mom picks him up because he couldn't get away, and she wraps him around her kid, and they take him home, and then the kid wipes her candy fingers on him, and he's never been so happy and felt so loved and so useful, and then he returns to his friends, and they all thought that he was so brave.
That is adorable.
It's wonderful, honestly.
Very clever idea, too.
Yes. So if you have kiddos, even if you don't have kiddos, I think you can appreciate the art and storytelling of children's books. So see if your local library has it. If you have a children's book collection of your own, I highly recommend adding this to your collection. It is so good.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And then for watching, okay. Critical Role Campaign 3, which I just realized I'm behind, so I need to get caught up.
Oh man, I'm excited for you to get caught up.
I made it through half the episode. So
what happened the last time you watched? Don't you remember where it left off for you?
I'm trying to recall. They have just gotten off the pirate ship.
Okay, so you got to see the whole ghost pirate ship thing. Oh my gosh, that was so funny.
A riot.
I loved every second of the ghost crew.
Yeah. Matt did a phenomenal job.
Oh my gosh. So funny. I loved it. Anyway, continue. Sorry. I just wanted to see if you had seen that yet.
Yes.
So I could.
Yes, I've seen all of those shenanigans. Oh my gosh.
Fern.
We are Fern, yes. Ashley Johnson being a gem as always.
Oh my goodness.
We're also working on Tokyo Ghoul for our anime night show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think I can talk about it. I think it struck, so I'm not going to mention that thing that I have also been watching.
Okay.
That might be it right now that I can talk about.
Cool.
Have not played anything since we last recorded. Have been started a new job and doing homework and just
understandable.
Just getting through the new routine. So
just
no
existing.
Gaming, just existing right now.
Yeah,
which is fine. So, what about you?
Well, for me, for watching, still Critical Role Campaign 3, as we've discussed.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Tokyo Ghoul, which we've discussed. I actually finished that Ragnarok show, which I can talk about because it's Norwegian, but it is on Netflix. But I gotta say, didn't enjoy the end.
Oh, is it like the end, or is it just like a cliffhanger?
Yeah, it's the end. So you know how I said, well, are you gonna watch it?
Maybe, but I don't mind spoilers.
So I mean, they basically did the whole. I mean, they kind of planted it from the beginning, I suppose, but it was. I don't know. I didn't like it as much. They pretty much, so like I said, it's like they're Norse gods and they're fighting the giants and they're like still around in modern times and they're like reincarnations of the Norse gods and stuff, right? They basically made it so that the main character was just having a psychotic break the whole time, and none of it was real.
Oh, that's like the waking up from a dream thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it.
You know, that's fine for an episode.
Yeah.
You know, like I think there's a Buffy episode that does that. There are lots of shows that do that where like you wake up and it's kind of like, oh, you kind of feel robbed, but if it's an entire show, that's like,
yeah,
that's insane. That's crazy.
And the reason they did it, well, in the beginning of the show, you know that the main character's like dyslexic. He also had to take some medication from a psychiatrist because he had some kind of like paranoid schizophrenia episode. But it's but the way that I kind of interpreted it earlier on was that it wasn't really a paranoid schizophrenia. It was like he was actually saying these things, but then in the end they were like, oh no, he's actually just paranoid schizophrenic and he just hallucinates. No, he's not Thor. Yeah, it's
what a disservice to the story.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't enjoy that.
I don't like that.
I mean, I'm obviously like dumbing it way down, and they did it in a much more, like fleshed out way. But when it comes down to it, yeah, they just kind of like, for me, it took a lot of the meaning out of the story, and yeah.
Yeah. Bummer.
So that was that. I can't really talk about anything else for watching. So for reading, we're still reading A Magic Steeped in Poison. I haven't really done a ton of reading. That's kind of been it this last week.
That's okay.
But for playing, I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate. So that's why.
Yeah,
I haven't read as much.
I figured.
But we also, we had Sam and Sarah over and we played some board games. And that was fun. Oh, and still playing D&D. That's still a thing that's happening. And we played Root, which was I had never played. it's very charming. It's very cute, but it is a little more complex than I was expecting.
Okay.
It's kind of like a more fun version of Risk.
Oh.
It's kind of you're taking over the forest map as your faction of forest creatures. And you each have your own different idiosyncrasies. Like you're each kind of playing your own game, and you all interact with each other, and you all have different rules that you kind of work with. But
interesting.
It was still fun for sure.
See, now that is one that I've been like eyeballing whenever we go to that board game when I visit you. Whenever we go to that board game, whenever we go to that store that has all the board games.
Madness Games and Comics.
Yes. I eyeball Root every time we're there. But I don't really like Risk, so I don't know if I would like that or not.
I don't know if you would enjoy it, to be honest. I think you would enjoy the art.
I do enjoy the
aesthetics.
Art. Yes.
I don't know if you would actually enjoy the game, though.
Bummer.
Sorry.
No, I very much appreciate you playing the game and then telling me what it's like so that I can judge for myself on whether or not it's something that I would actually get into.
For sure.
So.
Let's see. We also played... That wasn't even the first game we played. What did we play first? We played Flamecraft. That dragon game where you would actually love that game. Very much. It's very popular. A lot of people want it because it kind of blew up online. Very cozy, like cozy gaming type of thing. That one was very fun, and I actually won.
Nice.
Go me.
Good job.
We also played. We played a round of Sheriff of Nottingham. Haven't played that in a while.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Ages.
We also played Red Dragon Inn, which is a fun game that we have played before, but I may have mentioned it before. But yeah, it's very fun.
Is that one that I played with you guys? It kind of sounds familiar.
I don't know if you did play it. It's kind of, the concept is like you pick a character. Well, did you ever play games with me, Hope, Sam, and Sarah? Did you ever play games? Or was it just the Ren Fair? Yeah, we just did the Ren Fair. So no, you wouldn't have, because I've only ever played it with Sam and Sarah.
Oh, okay.
But you would enjoy it. It's fun. Maybe we'll bring it next time we go up, like for Christmas or something.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But, anyway, so that's pretty much it for my playing. Yeah.
Nice. Well.
Cool. So once again, go vote on our Patreon for the next read along.
Do it.
The link for that's in the description. The link for all the usernames and like the Reddit thread where all those stories are is going to be in the description too. So go check that out. But next week will be the final episode for A Magic Steeped in Poison's read along. So very excited about that.
Yes.
Come check in with us then to hear our thoughts on the conclusion of this first book in her series. So fun stuff. Yeah. So I guess until next time, go read a scary story.
And we'll talk at you next time.
Later.
Bye.